kick. We also practice the opponent's onside kick, so we're working our hands team. And when we do that, then it gives me a chance to see, like Jake Bates, for example, kick a lot of different kicks. And so you get a chance to see what you think he does best. To me, what's best is anything you can repeat over and over again. So if you see him hit a ball and then you see him hit that ball the same way and it goes to the same spot again the next time, and then over time, if you feel like, man, that's a good kick, he can repeat it over and over, then you kind of like that. And that's really what came down to the second one. The second kick, our plan going into the game was the first kick. And we really didn't have this volume of, okay, well, kick number 2, kick number 3. I mean, at some point you got to weigh, time and energy and effort and all that. And then after the way they lined up on the first kick gave us the idea that they were pretty wide out there, and we knew he had this second kick that he's hit a bunch of times for us, and so then we went with the second one. But not much. We don't have a ton of plays, but enough that we can get through a game and try to get the ball back if we need to.
Obviously made a really incredible play on the one, but I mean, it seemed like the execution was fairly good on both kicks. Did you like the way Bates executed?
Yeah, I obviously hated the result, and at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to get done is we're trying to get the ball back. So we came up short on it, but in terms of the kick, I did think that we gave ourselves a chance. I mean, there's a number of things to that. Number one is being onside. If you're offsides, you're in essence just handing the ball to the other team in that situation. So you can't be that, but you also got to play on the edge. If you don't, you're not going to get it. And so I thought both balls gave us a chance. I mean, all you can really hope for is to get one-on-one with the guy catching the ball right around the time he's catching it. And if you get that, you've done a pretty good job with the kick, I think. And so I felt like he gave us 2 great chances on both kicks. Ultimately, we would have loved to come down with the ball. Obviously, we didn't want the guy to return it that far down the field. And that's another, are you trying to get the ball back? Or are you trying to prevent the return? And it's hard to do both those things.
Can you explain the philosophy on the second one, too? Are you trying to, blast it as hard as you can, try to knock someone's head off in order to make them fumble? What is the
no, there was on that one, there was one guy lined up over the ball, and then the next widest guy was out there pretty wide. And it looked to me like they were doing that regardless of kind of the formation we were in. And so the next kick, we actually moved a couple guys around, and we cheated another player or 2 players down inside towards the middle of the field, and they didn't adjust to that. So we kind of got what we thought we might. And then really the goal was actually to hit the ball just a tick wider to the left, and it would have been in more of a dead spot right there. But ultimately to give us a chance to get there at the same time they were getting there. But
Bates, after he kicks it, he runs right there, and he sort of slid. Is there probably to be careful about injury? You can't have your kicker go knock that guy.
Yeah.
Out. I guess there's probably
Yeah, you get nervous about some of those kicks down the middle of the field with kicker being out there first. I felt much better about it because there was only one guy, and that guy's going to try to field the ball. Or if he's not going to field the ball, then hopefully we get the ball. So he's probably going to field the ball, so he's not really in a position to hit us. And then I think you see there was another guy coming in from the left, and Vaki knocked that guy off. So I felt pretty good about us not getting a lot of contact on him on that kick. Had they been loaded up with more guys in there, I would have been much more nervous about it. Yeah, probably not.
Having to declare an onside kick before you do it, mostly about the 12-minute mark where maybe an element of surprise could be a factor.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's more beneficial. The numbers say, the surprise onside kick was much more recoverable than the obvious onside kick. But whatever, those are the rules now, and it's what we play by. Yeah.
Is there anything unique about Soldier Field and the lake right there, and I guess just what you have to prepare for when you go play down there?
Yeah, obviously for us going back outdoors, I think I've told you guys before, there's some great things about it. There's some things that aren't as fun. But it'll be a cooler day. It sounds like 30 degrees. It sounds like 10-mile-per-hour winds roughly. It depends on the day you look at it in time, I guess, but 10 to 15. It should be pretty good. Wind tells you a lot of times it's either blowing left to right, right to left, which, it would suggest that the kickers or punters are going to try to kick with that or punt with that. So, like when you play indoors, you have no idea they're going to kick right or left. The wind's really not helping make that decision for them or us. So that factors into it. Anytime it gets real cold, the air gets real dense. And with dense air, both in the ball, cold ball, and also outside, the ball travels not quite as far. So you're looking at more returnable kick situations, both kickoff return, potentially having some opportunities to return the ball or cover kicks there. So that should be different. Punt, ball maybe not going quite as far, stuff like that. But, yeah, it's fun. I enjoy, obviously Philly for 8 years, I enjoy playing outside, and I think there's a lot of advantages to it.
Wondered if you had a chance to check in with Khalil, how he's doing and the impact of his loss.
Yeah, obviously crush for him. This guy is an incredible player for us, obviously. I'm just watching the film this morning, even a rep of him on punt return, holding up one of their gunners, did a great job for us. But he was a great player for us all year long, obviously. I've told you guys before, you hate seeing guys get hurt in this game. It's one of the worst parts about it. But unfortunately, it's also part of the game. I've also told you before, it doesn't make me feel better. It happened on defense, for all the guys say, well, it happened on special teams. Well, it can happen on special teams. It can happen on defense. It doesn't really matter when it happens. Ultimately, it's devastating anytime a guy goes down. But the bottom line is it also creates an opportunity for somebody else to step up. In that last game, Joe went in there and played gunner for us, something he really hasn't done a whole lot. So I give him a lot of credit for stepping in and going. And he really helped us on the coverage on that play. So it gives somebody else an opportunity to step up, make a play, and go make a name for themselves, which is also a great part of this game. As some guys get chances, and when you get a chance, what you make with the opportunity you get, which is really much like life, so.
Asked you about incorporating new pieces into special teams on the fly. This week you get a guy back that's played 1,100 snaps for you in Anthony Pittman. How valuable is it to get a guy you can very confidently plug and play wherever you need him?
Yeah, it's great. It's great knowing that you have a good player who's obviously played in your system and go in there and play right away. That's obviously very comforting. But for me personally, honestly, more than anything, man, it's just seeing the guy's face in the building and the smile and his energy. It gives me energy. He's a great player. He's a total pro. He's totally committed to this game. He's come a long ways. We got to see him grow up and develop. When I got here, I think he was on the practice squad the year before, but never played in a game. So we got to see him play his first game, play his first snaps, end up making a lot of plays and being a very valuable player for us. And then to see him come, and I told you guys, he took a chance. He took it, and he bet on himself, and he wanted to go out there and see if he could end up being a positional player. Washington gave him that opportunity, and he went for it, which I totally credit the kid. I love him more for it. So he took a chance on himself. It didn't end up working out, and then it ended up working out that we got him back here, and he gets to play again for us, so I'm excited for that.
Someone had asked me this, I didn't know the answer, but is there it's indoors, so I imagine that, but does one side of Ford Field play different for field goals?
Yeah, we look at all that data. We get all the numbers on kicks in the south end, kicks in the north end, whatever it is, for every stadium. And obviously the outdoors one typically are like that, which you have to be careful with because it is like, well, maybe in the winter, the wind blows differently than it does in the beginning of the season. You know what I mean? And so, and there's more misses late in the year because a lot of different reasons. But anyway, I think you do have to be careful of it. Every game could be different. But at the end of the day, outdoors is typically like that. Indoors for us, they give me the report on the indoor kicks. It's like 2% off or whatever, one way or the other, but that means it's really the exact same, whereas in the polling data, it's like within the margin for error. Oh, man, so that's it. So, okay, it is the last time I get to meet with you guys before Christmas. I noticed there's like 15 guys in here last week. There's like 20-something. Yeah, I get you, man. You guys are on to it. So the first, don't forget where we came from. We came from that building all the way down there, and we were outside in the cold, and so I got you guys a heater. And then we come back around the next year. I got you special teams for special players make special teams, little paperweight or whatever. Last year, you guys didn't get fed as much, so hey, we got Mexican food. And I gave you a bottle of wine. I'm going to give you a bottle of wine again, but you guys don't know how a bottle of wine is related to special teams, do you? No. Okay, so some of you may know there's this little indentation on the bottom of the bottle. And so if you read into that indentation, some people would suggest the better a bottle of wine, the deeper the indentation. So this thing must be good. But anyways, but then other people say that it's just so that when it's sitting on the ground that it doesn't tip over because it spreads the weight to the outside. Kind of like football, you got a wide base, you get anchored in the ground, it's all good. But really, this thing relates very closely to special teams because this indentation would be called the punt of the wine bottle. So this is actually the punt of the wine bottle. So every time you pick up a wine bottle, you won't look at it the same. You'll remember me. So you guys, Merry Christmas to you guys.
A little grain, the formulated.
I don't want to know.
We got two of them.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I don't like receiving, I'd rather. I don't like attention.
Gift that I've got the last 2 years.
So I got to open this?
Yeah, you go.
Okay. I love it, man. It's incredible. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I get it. All right, man. Appreciate it.